Hey friends, welcome to another episode of Live Boldly with Sara. Today we're going to be talking about doing the difficult. What is the difficult? There can be a lot of things in our life that can be very, very difficult. I know myself included, I've had to work through many hard things. I have not always been like this. I have not always paddled the ocean 4 miles out or to Catalina Island. I have not always climbed mountains or been able to have those hard conversations with people. That's one of the most difficult for me. Learning how to have the difficult, honest conversations was one of the most difficult things for me to learn how to do. And I'm going to tell you that it's opened myself up to some of the greatest relationships and most awesome, friendships that I ever imagined. So I want to dive into this with you. First of all, what the hell is difficult? Is really anything in life that difficult, or do we just make it hard? I think so often we make it hard because of the stories that we've been taught and the way that we have been brought up, right? Or maybe it's our past or our own patterns that has caused things to be extremely difficult and hard in our life, right? What I want to dive into, though, is this campaign that we're starting. This is your support community because there is two things that I have found most important in my life to work through those hard, those difficult, those healing transformations in my life. And number one was finding that one person, that therapist or coach to help me. And then two was my support group. I have now in my own life a support group of amazing humans that I call in my home circle that really guide me and allow me to step into the rising space all of the time, continuously, year after year after year. And so we need that. We need that support. And so I want this to be your support space. We're starting this campaign every Tuesday. You're going to find on my Instagram stories where I'm going to ask you, what is the hard that you're going to do this week? Put it in here, share it in your Instagram. This is what I'm going to be doing. Let me reshare it, tag me, let me reshare it. And let's really ripple this doing the difficult, right? Living boldly, doing the difficult. Do it, get it out there, put it out there. And let's rise into this next space. Why this is important, because we are energy. Oh, shockingly, look at this. I'm wearing a shirt today that says Spiritual Gangster. One of my former clients gave this to me for my birthday. And so I really believe that this is the shifting of the energy, not only within yourself, but within this community, within this space. We are all friends over here. We really do lean into one another. And so by doing the difficult, it shifts that, whatever that small step is, it shifts the energy and really propels us to do even harder things in our life. Some of the hardest things that I've done in my life, getting my damn divorce, selling my house. I mean, having these hard conversations with myself first, looking myself in the mirror and saying, you know what? You've made some decisions and choices in your life that have led you to some really hard places. And now let's shift the patterns and do differently so that we can really step into the space of the life that you want to have. You have this one life. That's the thing that I always tell everybody, including my deepest, most closest friends. I'm like, you have one life. Don't take that last breath regretting anything, right? I mean, we will have stuff that we will regret, obviously. And yet, we also have this space to be able to transform our regrets into our deepest learning and knowledge in life. So let's really transform this energy and do the difficult together and see where this takes us. That's the most magical thing, because it's where is this going to take us? Who the hell knows? I do know that it's going to be really awesome, whatever it is. So grab your journals. Let's talk. So there's a couple of ways that I have learned how to do the difficult in my own life. First of all, really mitigate what the hell is hard, right? So think about that one thing that you want to do right now that you have not done. If it is starting an exercise class, having a hard conversation with somebody that you care about. I don't know. For me, it was getting those divorce papers done. That was hard. It can be very, very difficult to look at life and say, wow, it's going to be different tomorrow than it is today. And I'm having to propel myself into that space. So maybe it's that. Maybe it's starting a new relationship. Maybe it is starting a podcast, changing your career, looking at moving. I don't know, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be anything huge, though, as well. Understand that. Maybe it's just simply, I'm going to start changing my thought processes on something that, in life, whatever that is. Look at, though, distinguish, what is it? What is it that you want to change? And then first step, what is hard? Really look at in this thing that I want to do, what is the thing that is most hard for me to do? What is the thing that is holding me back from stepping into that space? I'll use an example. When back in 2017, that was the very first time that I did a backcountry trip. And for me, what was hard is the fact that I didn't know so much, right? And I looked at like, well, I want to learn how to do 2 nights on the backcountry. I don't know how to do it. And the hard was the unknowing. The hard for me was the fear of like, well, I'm out there, what if a bear comes? Like, it was all of those things that was the hard, that were the things that was actually holding me back from doing that one thing that I really wanted to learn how to do. So look at, number one, journal out what is hard. What is hard about the thing that you want to do? Okay. Because also when we look at it and we start to have that conversation with ourselves, we start to realize that a lot of the things that we think are hard are really not. They're things that are, stories that have been told to us that we are creating as hard, but they're really not. So then the second thing that I would like you to journal out is just simply break it down. Break down the process, break down the steps that you're going to take. Because here's the thing, really step one can be putting my shoes on to get myself to the exercise class. I oftentimes say, half of the workout is putting your shoes on and getting to the gym. That's half the workout. Half the workout is putting my board onto my car and driving myself to the harbor, because once I get there, I know that I'm going to be able to put my board on the water and, get myself out onto the ocean and paddle as far as I need to paddle that day. Half the workout is making that choice to actually do the workout. So break it down into steps. What is the step that I can take today to get me into that next space, whatever it is? Keep it simple though. We oftentimes overcomplicate the things that we really do want to do. The third thing that I want you to look at is find your resources. For me, when I decided to go, like, I want to learn how to backcountry, camp, I looked at my friends that have done it already. And I said, hey, can you teach me? Can you take me out there yourself and teach me what you know? They're my resources. My greatest resources are the people that have already been there. Those are your greatest resources as well. I'm a resource for you, my friends. Look at again, I was not like this 10 years ago. I never imagined that I would be preparing. Next week, actually, we're section hiking the Sierra High Road. Next week, we're doing the very first section of it. And we're going to attempt to do it this time without using our phone as much. So we're going to be using a map and a compass to get us to this next space. This was not me. All right. Like 10 years ago, it was in me, right? Just like you have so much of these new versions of you and you. I had to pull back the layers and do the difficult in order to get to this space too, which is why I am your resource. Look at it like, wow, if she can do that, so can I. Because yes, you can. I believe in you. So use and find your resources and use them. Truly, the people that have already been there are your greatest resources. Do not be afraid to ask the questions and to be able to listen to what they have to say, right? Because you can do it too. I do believe that. And then the fourth thing is, what can you do right now? Right now at this moment, what can you do? Maybe, just maybe, it is writing it down on a Post-it note and sticking it onto your refrigerator and committing to it, right? That is a huge step. That is a commitment. That is one of the things that I do. Actually, this is a really good one. Commit to it by putting it into your phone and making that your screensaver. We look at our phones how many times a day? It's a lot. And so making that commitment and putting it as your screensaver, I'm committing to this campaign of doing one thing that is hard every single week, right? Do the difficult. And so make that your screensaver and allow that to be, that step that you, what can you do right now at this moment? The fifth thing is, really, so oftentimes we look at things as being impossible when really they're not. I'm laughing because I've done this so many times in my own life. Oh my gosh. We also are being guided every single day. So what allowed me to step into the stage space? What allowed me to step into the stage space was seeing how many people were in the stage space, like of speaking from stage, and I sat there and I'm like, well, I'm a damn good speaker. I know that I'm a damn good speaker because I've done a TED Talk, right? Like, and I have all of these things. I've had people that have told me, you're a great speaker. When I was at my mom's funeral, my brothers and my dad said, well, this is for you to do. You can go speak and share. And I was like, well, wait a second. Why am I doing this? And they're like, because you're really good at it. And I was like, okay. So oftentimes we look at things that are impossible ourselves, when in reality, we have everybody around us, the universe, and literally, I don't know how many times that we're being told, this is not impossible. This is possible. This is your gift. This is your rising space. Here it is. And we still sit in the, well, but it just seems impossible, right? And so listen to the universe, listen to the signs, listen to the people around you, listen to me right now that's telling you whatever it is that's at the top of your mind space. If it's there, it's not impossible. It's to be explored, right? And so literally, like for me though, when I was sitting in like, can I take this to stage? And I was looking at all the people that are already doing it. I'm like, well, I know that if they're doing it, I can do it. And yet I'm my worst critic right now, because I'm sitting here saying it's impossible when in reality, it's more than possible. It's there. Like I just simply have to accept it as my greatest possibility, right? And so really look at, separate, is this really hard? Am I making this really, really hard and impossible? Is this like really available to me right now? And I'm going to tell you that over 99.9%, 99.9, okay, we're making it way more difficult than it needs to be. It is not impossible. It is completely doable. And it is our past, it is our stories, it is our patterns that's holding us back from doing the things that we want to do. And so we're the only people in charge of that. Like, we have to make that choice and make that decision to say, nope, I'm going to do it differently. And I'm going to believe in myself. And I'm going to take that first step. And I'm going to put this onto my refrigerator. And I'm going to say, yes, I'm committing to this and I am going to do it. That's what I encourage you to do. So that's number 5. Number 6 is get really clear on it. Okay. So one of the things that I've had to really work on in my entire life is getting clear on what is my goal? What is my intention? And I'm going to tell you that this is a really good tip that I have used over and over and over again. When I take my last breath at 108, I'm using 108 as my number. Am I going to be proud of how I lived my life? Am I going to be regretful of the things that I didn't do? Am I going to look back and say, I wish I would have? And if there is something right now at the top of my heart that I want to attempt and I want to look at, and if I want to explore, then damn it, I'm going to do it, because I know if it's at the top of my heart, the tip of my tongue, if it's at the top of my mind, if I know that, if it keeps coming up for me, I know that if I don't explore it, when I take my last breath at 108, I'm going to sit there and say, damn it, Sarah, why didn't you? And that is the one thing that I don't want to do. And so if it's there, if it's right now at the top of your heart, top of your tongue, top of your mind, then yes, this is the difficult. That is time. It is time. It is time. It is time to do it. So do the difficult, right? And so get clear on, what is it? For me, it is, I can visualize right now as I'm speaking this with you, I can visualize what it is going to be like for me to be on stage in front of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, if not thousands and thousands and thousands of people, delivering the message that I know that so many other people need to hear. It needs to be landing within their own heart as well, right? What it is to do the hard, what it is to do the difficult, to belong, to know that they are, incredible human beings, to inspire them to live their life the way that it was intended, in resilience and leadership, in personal belonging, right? First, and then in belonging in the space that they are in right now as well. So really get clear on that. And then the very last thing, that number 7, reward yourself. I was sitting at Stephanie, my dear friend of, good Lord, 37, 30, I don't even know how long years. I was sitting at her house when I was back home, and I had just gotten back from Detroit, really working on the speaking reel of belonging. And she and I were sitting over coffee talking about some hard things, right? Like, how does she do the difficult, and how am I doing the difficult, and how our friendship has transformed over the years because we've had those difficult conversations, and how much that, how much that I love. God, I love you, Steph. I know you're listening to this. I freaking love you, because she has been a rock in my life, and I don't know where I would be without her. That is the support also, by the way, which is why we create this space with all of you to do this, right? We need the support. We need the people that are going to hold us accountable. And one of the things that she said to me is, every day that I go through my list and I cross stuff off, I give myself a sticker, because I like stickers. Now, she's 50, right? And I'm like, damn, girl, I love that. You give yourself a sticker. She goes, I do. Give myself a sticker and a pat on the back. And I say, you know what? Good job. And so as you're crossing off your list, and as we are doing the hard things every single week, find that one thing that you can reward yourself with. If it is, I'm going to reward myself with a sticker, right? Or maybe it is giving yourself a hug, right? Like, we don't do enough of that. Just give yourself a hug, reward yourself with that. Whatever it is that makes you feel good, right? That it's like, yes, this is for me. Then go do that. Give yourself a reward at the end of every month, maybe doing your nails. Check out my new nails. Love my new nails. Reward yourself with something that makes you feel really loved, right? From yourself to yourself, worthy from yourself to yourself. And you belong in this space. And so allowing yourself to belong with yourself is really, really important. So those are the 7 things, the 7 steps, right, that I'm going to give you, that I want you to sit with every single week that you choose to do the hard, to do the difficult. And like I said, every single Tuesday, I am going to be putting into my Instagram posts a post about this. Like, what's the hard that you're going to do? What's the difficult that you're going to do this week? And let's do it together. Let's hold one another accountable, because this is a loving space. And this is what this community is about, right? And it can be something so simple, by the way. Like I said, having that difficult conversation, or taking that first small step, which is not a small step, it's actually a big step. That's breaking down the tasks into whatever it is that you want to achieve, right? That hard thing that's there that you have not been able to accomplish. Let's accomplish it together. That's why I'm here. And I will tell you that starting on Wednesday, when I am stepping onto the trail, it's not even a trail, it's waypointing through the mountains. And when I'm out there doing that, I'm going to be, every single one of you are in my heart and in my soul. And you're going to be doing this difficult with me as well. And so 1 week later, next week, after this releases, keep checking my Instagram. I have somebody that's going to be working my Instagram for me, and I'll be, sending her messages through my Garmin and saying, hey, this is where I am. This is where we're at. We're doing this, we're doing that. And so definitely continue to check in on my Instagram as well and follow along. And then I will be sharing a lot of it with all of you when I get back, because that's what I do. So I love each and every one of you. I'm so stoked to have you here. I'm proud of you. Continue to be your own spiritual gangster in life as well. Thank you to Bonnie for this amazing shirt. I freaking love it. Happy 50th, right here. And I'm really blessed and honored to have every single one of you here as well. So take this, the thing that you can do, share it with your friends. If you could find 5 friends minimum that you want to do the difficult with, please ripple this into the world. Send this podcast episode to them. Say, hey, listen, we're going to do the difficult. We're going to live boldly, and we are going to every single week do something new, do the hard things, that the tasks that we have been sitting with that we haven't, accomplished, and join this community with us. And let's do the difficult together. Bring those 5 friends into this. And I'm telling you, the energy is what shifts it. So the more people that we get into this campaign, into this community to do it, the bigger and broader and more the energy is going to just continue to rise, and we're going to be able to do more together as well. So I'm so happy to have you here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ripple this into the world, and let's live boldly together. Do the difficult.